Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queer Stories on the Swan, a podcast where two gay men chat and discuss all things queer in the Perth LGBTQIA+ community. I am shaking my head back and forth, making it very dancey. So quirky. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm your other host, Christo. In today's episode, we're talking to our third guest, Chloe. Her story, coming out as trans, and advice for others going through the similar journey. So sit back and enjoy the show.
You know, that stupid air horn thing.
Oh, I hate that so much.
I know. I mean, I hated it at first, and then I started to like it because there's a few other podcasts that use it, and I generally find them funny. But it's still incredibly obnoxious sound. But yeah.
Yes.
Christo, how are you? It's been a week since our last episode.
Yes, yeah, good. Happy to be finally relaxing a bit more.
I know. You just finished doing your project.
Behind the scenes filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just recently finished up doing wardrobe for a lesbian web series. So
Ooh, that almost sounds like a porn, but it's not.
No.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's
story.
very, very sweet. Well, very keen to hear about it. And once it comes out, you must share it with the rest of us because
I will.
Great to watch.
The shizzle out of it.
Absolutely.
What about you?
Good. I'm back at studying now. I mean, I was last week, but now I'm getting back into the flow of it. Let's just say you'll be hearing me on air and not just podcast form soon. So that's pretty fun. Yes.
More of Chris. Enjoy.
Yeah. you can take that as you will.
I get enough here. Keep going. Find the
others. See, I'm glad you're here. You put in more positive light. I'm more, get ready, people. There's more of me coming. Be very afraid. Be afraid. But yeah,
if you want more of me, there's more on my channel, but still.
Yeah. We want to say thank you to everyone who's joined us on our socials. I'm going to pull things up because I am not prepared because that makes me quirky, I guess. I don't know. That's my word for the day, quirky.
Quirky.
Do you ever go through like days where you just use a particular word or phrase over and over and you're just like, why do I do that?
No.
Today's word needs to be quirky. So okay. Have a quirky day. I don't know.
Oh.
So thank you to the 94 people who are following us on Instagram. Yes, and growing and stuff. Of course, thank you to Kieran last week for your what have you done?
I just hit my elbow on the table. It's okay.
What'd you do that for? You silly. Damn.
I felt like it, okay.
So what? You gotta try and be funny by hitting your funny bone. Is that what it is? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that your is that your game today?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not functioning on a lot of sleep right now.
Oh.
My sleep schedule's been over the place because it's been so damn hot. Which it has been for the last couple of months. So anywho, so I think we've prattled on long enough. We have got another guest this week. She is a friend of mine. We studied radio together last year. So it's my old co-host meeting my new co-host. Different formats, different forms. But
what could happen?
Possibly a great discussion and meeting new people in the community. Social activity.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I think we've talked long enough. Let's not keep her waiting. Let's bring on our guest. We are joined now by our third guest. Yeah. Jesus, Chris.
Get it right.
Get your stuff together. with my good friend from radio broadcasting last year and just friend in general, Chloe. Oh. Hi, girl.
Yay. Hi.
Hello. How's it going?
Welcome.
So we'll just get the pronouns thing out of the way. So I'm Chris. I'm he, him. Christo, you are?
I am anything and everything.
What about Chloe? What about you?
I'm she, her.
She, her.
Nice.
Excellent. So, Chloe, or like how I like to say to you, hey, Chloe. I love doing the Brooklyn accent. Take us from the beginning.
Oh, okay. I was born
on a dark and stormy night 25 years ago.
Well, I'm not that old. I'm not as old as you, Chris.
Shut up.
Shh. Talk about ages.
I guess it's hard. I feel like get the ball rolling, feel free to like ask me any sort of question, because I'm pretty bad at explaining things, so I need to, I guess, be prompted.
So talk about you growing up. So, were you always feeling like I'm not exactly right, or something's not quite right there, or did it take you a while to get to that point? Or
I don't know, maybe like subconsciously, like deep down, because I had a fairly like normal childhood, I guess. Family fairly upper middle class, so lived in a pretty decent suburb, decent school and all that. And then I think I probably started having more thoughts about these things because in primary school, everyone's usually pretty much the same as you, I guess, growing up in and I suppose you're sort of like generation too, because basically the same generation. And then in high school,
same generation, doll. What are you talking about?
Boomer. And then I guess once high school hit and I started meeting like more people, I suppose that's when I started, I guess, questioning things at first.
Do you mean like you met other queer people or just people in general?
Not till I was about 15.
Mm-hmm.
But I like actually became friends with one. But I think I knew
another trans person, or
no, another gay person.
Right.
I didn't meet another trans person till I was at ice skating one time. Probably 2016. So probably 15, 16, 17, that sort of period.
So fairly recently. Okay.
Yeah. Then you realize that's like 7 years ago.
Tush. Tush. So while you're going through high school, did you, because like just talking to people who have come out as trans, who are trans, who or might be questioning, like there's kind of this perception of I'm a woman or I'm a man in the other gender's body. Is that what it felt like for you going through high school, or did that only start happening once you met other queer people, or even primary school?
That only started, I want to say, in terms of trans related stuff, probably 2016. Because I went to, God forbid, a private Baptist school.
Same.
So
yeah.
So, that was very like, I guess, taboo, and like, a lot of people would probably hide it, whether it be like their gender orientation or sexuality or whatever. And I know I tried to, I guess, hide my sexuality when I did come out as bi back then, but didn't last long. Word spreads fast at high schools. So there you go. But I want to say, 2016. And did you ever have sort of like your youth groups in high school that you go to?
Yeah, there was one that I went to like a few times on, I think it'd be like every Friday night or every second Friday or something like that.
It was every Friday.
Yeah, that kind of social youth group. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I remember it being one night, and I dabbled in like nail polish and stuff before, just cause, and I think I did it. It's weird. I'm having vague memories of like doing it on one hand for like my year 7 graduation. I'm just randomly having those memories now, but my friend did it one night at a youth group, and then after that youth group I really enjoyed having nail polish on and everything, and I really sort of just started like hard questioning and talking to like my close friends about it, about like what being transgender is, and going on the internet and researching and all that, in the midst of typical year 11, everything's piled on you.
Exams, well, it's not ATA. It was it TE back in your time, or was it like ATA?
Oh, it was ATA. It was TE when my sisters were around. I don't remember when it changed, but like
it must have been recent, because you're 24 this year. Yeah,
23. Yeah,
I'm 27. So it must have been just after I left high school. Okay.
yeah, I reckon. Yeah, well, I dropped data after a semester because it was hard.
No,
It's taking a big old toll.
I agree.
It's taking a big old toll, and then I breezed through the general pathway,
Mhm.
which was a very good time. But anyway, except for the like, there was a weird test that was kind of like an exam that you had to do for the general pathway in year 12, and like for whatever reason, nearly everyone failed the business and math ones, and I don't know why. Like it was an average fail on the maths one.
Yeah. Maths is hard. I mean, I
no,
could
like,
do like
maths is hard.
I could do like the mental stuff, but when it gets to like problem solving and do these big long equations, show you're working out. No, I know the number.
and you can't use a calculator. But yeah, like I guess because I was already out as bi and had connected with quite a few queer people, because I came out as bi in mid 2015, I think.
Mhm.
And then I started questioning, and then like figuring myself out, which was hard because private Baptist school plus year 11, plus mental health, and back then I didn't quite, I guess, get mental health and like what sort of like issues you can have and stuff. I didn't start figuring out that I had some of these like underlying mental health issues till after high school. And like I suppose because private Baptist school, and like we had psychologists or psychiatrists, I think, but one of them was really like bad. Like they were the Christian like psychologist and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of them was really lovely, but I'm to this day, the other one was really lovely, but to this day I've been terrible at talking about my mental health issues, and still hard for me to talk to my parents about it.
Oh, definitely. Like mental health is as it's becoming more aware, it's becoming easier, but it's still difficult in so many ways to talk about because it's still. I recently heard the other day, I don't know where it was. I think I was just overhearing a conversation because I'm a nosy person.
Yeah, you are.
Where like, true. But hence why I'm asking you about your story on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
People talking about anxiety, and they're like, "Oh, anxiety is such a trend these days." I'm like, it's not. It's just that people are waking up to it.
Yeah,
it's aware of it.
It's like a legit issue.
Yeah, or they'll say that same thing about like queer identities or being gay. Like there's more gay people and stuff that say it's not a trend. It's just that people are becoming more aware and are realizing, hey, we can actually talk about this stuff. We can actually
trickling into the mainstream, I suppose. Yeah,
which is great. It's great. I mean, there's always going to be resistance to it, but as the world, so I'm just fixing my headphones.
That's okay.
As the world grows more aware of it, people are asking for help more, and it's great.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot more widespread sources, I suppose, as well.
Yeah,
like even though Reddit can be a terrible place at times, there's some genuinely good like subreddits relating to like gender issues, mental health issues and stuff, and they're really helpful. Like I remember when I came out to my doctor, which was I think in 2017, he actually went on to like I think the r/transgender Reddit to search for like info because this was all new to him and stuff. And I think I was his first sort of trans patient. And because I guess the timeline was I came out to my close friends, and then the big event happened New Year's Eve 2016. I think I was just on a wild ride. I was just like had all this confidence and stuff for no reason, and I hadn't started drinking yet or anything, so I wasn't drunk or anything. And just I made like a really big post on Facebook about it, and just came out to everyone on my Facebook list.
Yeah.
So that was a really big moment today, and the reaction was I only really have my sisters and my brother-in-law on Facebook. I don't have my parents on Facebook, so they didn't see that. Came at a later date.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the reaction from what I remember was fairly mixed. Like, I think a lot of people there was three groups, I think. People supporting me, people who didn't understand, which is fair because it was still become like not everyone would be exposed to that and stuff. And then there's people who were tossers, and that can mostly credit those to probably the popular kids in high school. So typical and stuff. And then I think it's weird because I think it went into year 12. I don't think from my memory, and my memory is all over the place, that I was asked a lot about it once school started. And I think because there was a whole month of January and then school started, I don't think I was asked a lot about it outside of like friends and stuff, and like me explaining to everyone and that. And so 2017 went by, managed to pass high school, thankfully.
Yay.
Just because if you go in the general pathway, you have to do a certificate, and I did Cert 2 in business, and I've explained the story of quite a few times that my teacher almost lost the booklet with all my assignments in it. She couldn't find it on the last day.
Oh my god.
So I almost failed high school because my teacher misplaced my booklet.
Oh my god. I mean, I had plenty of situations where my teachers actually lost my assessments. And some people say, well, it's the best excuse in the book next to dog ate it. But
what about Dropbox?
Yeah. Don't. That's another separate issue entirely.
It's a joke.
Yeah. Chloe and I studied radio last year, and one of the main things was putting our resources into a Dropbox, and one day it was all gone. Anyway, rather not get into all that.
Yeah. Big drama there.
Yeah.
Lots of conspiracy theories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Story for another day.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Let me compose myself for a moment. Then finished high school, and then around November, December 2017, because year 12, you get to flex on all the other school kids, finish like a month early.
Yeah.
And because I didn't do exams, I got to finish in October.
Ooh.
All the other ATAR kids had to do exams throughout October, November.
Yeah.
And then, so I basically had a month and a half free before my graduation, and I did my own leavers and went to Melbourne while everyone was doing exams.
Nice. Nice. The biggest flex.
The biggest flex. And then I started questioning, like, I went by a different name back then, and it was, I guess, a more feminization. You hear a lot of trans people going by more like feminized versions of their dead names, just to, I guess, for multiple reasons, or to make things easier. And that's what I did. Then I realized I was starting to get more and more dysphoric, like hearing the shortened version of my dead name being used as the shortened version of the name I was going by, and I couldn't differentiate the two. So I started having a bit of a name crisis. Then I was like, okay, what do I do? I started talking to my friend at the time, who also went through a name crisis not long before I did. And so I was just like, okay, there's two names I like. There's Chloe and there's Ruby.
Ruby's adorable.
I wanted to go by either Chloe or Ruby. I liked Chloe for multiple reasons. It's just a nice name. And also the character Chloe from Life is Strange is a really big lesbian, and she's great. And then Ruby, I just liked as a name. I like you kind of unique names. Like names after stones, or sometimes even like states and stuff like that. Like very, very sort of not names, I guess. So I was just like, okay, what do I do? And my friend at the time was like, just trial which one you like first. So I trialed Chloe, and that sort of just stuck. And I've sort of gone by it ever since. And most people adapted to it. It took a while for some people, like I guess friends that have known me like basically all my life. And actually, I might backtrack a bit. It's funny. The name I used to go by, I used to be called that as like a joke, like back when I was a lot younger.
Well,
so I guess no, the name I went by before that.
Oh, right. Sorry. I
got called that as a joke. And I remember in year 7 in primary school, we'd have these like, our sports classes would be called like middle or senior school sports. So all the classes would have sport at one time. And we would have like guest stars. We had like people from the Eagles and like the cricket teams and stuff. And I was sitting with my best friend, and he pointed at us to like get us to come up to the front, and he said, "You two girls over there." And I was just like looking back on it, underlying tones.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chloe stuck, and eventually it's gotten, nearly everyone knows me as that now. And I think the people that don't are no longer a part of my life. So there you go.
Yeah.
It took a while to get my parents around. Mum's great at it now. My birthday last year, we went out, fairly small birthday, like on the day birthday, because I had my party a couple of days before. And Jazz and I had a talk with my family that was there. And so Mum's been really great at using Chloe now. Dad's not the best at all. But I just have to tolerate it. Both Mum and Dad are like, not to use it as a meme, but they are genuinely a part of the boomer generation. So
yeah, no, I hear that.
Yeah, and my middle sister Amy is pretty good. She's good at it. And Rebecca and my brother-in-law don't usually directly refer to me like with my name, so I guess that's fine. Incidentally enough, Ruby, the other name I was going to try, was now my middle name.
Oh, there you go.
So I kind of came full circle there, and I actually started making a diary. I read through Jazz's, and I've sort of started making notes of like different goals and accomplishments.
Yeah.
So like 2017, 2018 is sort of when I started like, buying my first set of like feminine clothes and stuff. I remember going to Harbour Town, or Watertown as it's called now.
I still call it Harbour Town.
I still call it Harbour Town too. Drove past it the other day. I'm just like, this is still ridiculous. Like going to Cotton On there and stuff like that. And then I think I had like an initial gender appointment at the Perth Medical Centre. I didn't directly pursue that because it's just like, it was complex. It was complex really, because I heard of people going to this doctor before and like instantly getting on blockers / hormones. But he was like, to me, he didn't seem sure and was just like, okay, you need to go get blood tests done, which is fine. You need to go get your acne looked at, kind of fair. And you need to go to psychiatrist. And I'm just like, I just never ended up bothering looking into psychiatrists, because I'm just like, I know, like I've been sure of this for the past like 2 years,
Yeah.
I feel like there shouldn't be any hoops. And then I guess around 2019, my friend at the time, because I was starting to really, really get dysphoric with my dead name, they started a GoFundMe to help get my name changed, which I shared it on Twitter and stuff, because I'm a pretty big Twitter user, and an organization I was a part of at the time. So then, yeah, after that, the GoFundMe mostly worked. I don't think I raised enough, but unfortunately the money raised from that, I think I was in dead at the time or something. So it sort of like auto took it out on my bank account. So unfortunately, didn't quite get to use that. Then there was like,
Sorry, I was going to ask, do you remember how much it cost to get a name changed? And is it a different thing for when you're a trans person, or is it just name changing in general?
It's name changing in general, I believe. I don't have my red file here, otherwise I could get the invoice. But I believe it was because I had to get. You need a bunch of ID. And it's kind of like with Centrelink, you need IDs from different categories.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying. I had to find my birth certificate. Mum couldn't find it. Had to found it myself somehow, and so I took that in. This was July 2021, so last year. I have to go to the births, deaths, marriages office in the city. It's a very in a very nice building, actually. It's like deathly silent.
I know, right?
Deathly silent. So yeah, I found my birth certificate. And because Mum didn't know that at the time, I was just like, oh, what am I going to do? And at this point, I'd been living with Jazz, my partner, for about a year and a half. And we're coming up on 2 years living here.
Jeez, wow.
But yeah, like words. English is hard. So I had my my learners, my birth certificate, and my bank details, I think. And it's funny, I didn't know that because Mum and Dad must have paid for like a special like artsy like birth certificate, one that had like koalas and stuff on it. I didn't know that wasn't like the normal. And then underneath it, I found like the actual piece of paper like that has the birth certificate on it. Anyway, so I did all that. It cost, I want to say, I think it's about $200 for the name change certificate. $50 for a new birth certificate, and I think another $50 or so to keep the original birth certificate. So all up, it cost me about I think $300.
Wow.
So pretty pricey, but at least it's not like a super complex process. Like, for example, in Germany, you have to go through like the court system and everything to change your name, and it's ridiculous.
Couldn't do
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, no. So that was all handed in, and I decided I've never liked my old middle name. It's a bit weird because it was the name of my dad's dad and my mum's dad, so I had two middle names, and I just never liked it. So I rarely told anyone, like even way before I started questioning like whether I was trans or not. So Jazz convinced me to change it because I was umming and ahhing about it. So I changed it to Ruby. Yeah, and I really like it. So
well, that way you get to keep both, you know, Chloe and Ruby, because they're both great names.
Yeah, exactly, and they mean a lot to me. And thankfully, it was meant to take like a while for that all to process. Thankfully, it took only like a week or two for everything to come in the mail. And then once that happened, we went on a bit of a spree where we went to like pretty much Coburn and went to all the different places that needed my name changed, the licensing place, the bank, and Centrelink, Medicare, and got my own Medicare card finally. So that was amazing. And I guess, that was the last big thing of my story, but I haven't told many people. And thanks to a good friend of mine and Jazz's, I started Blockers 2 days ago.
Nice.
Wow. Nice.
So you heard it here first on Queer Stories on the Swan. I, Chloe, have started Blockers, and
exclusive take.
Exclusive take. They taste horrible, but worth it. Very worth it.
I can't imagine they don't sound super pleasant, but at least it's a step in, at least it's a step
that I've been waiting for a very long time.
Yes.
Because the Perth Royal Hospital messed up my referral, and so I got put on a waiting list till June to actually.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
It's also quite a lot of process in getting into this whole journey.
Yeah.
But no, that's good. We really appreciate you telling us your story. So you're doing quite well now. You obviously, I know you do like your podcast, your own podcast. Do you want to plug that here or anything? Or
sure, it's sure. Why not? You can find it under the name It's Your Friends on YouTube. It's more turned into like a gaming let's play, funny shenanigans channel.
Yeah, nice.
But it's still a very good time. And I guess if we're plugging things, I stream a lot over on Twitch, twitch.tv/dawnfire, and my Twitter, if you want to keep up with like my random ramblings, it's at DF Retro on Twitter as well.
No, perfect. Thank you so much, Chloe.
You're welcome. It was lovely.
I will ask you one more question before you go. I know you have to go. I'm being
spam pinged.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for any young trans people, whether it be female to male, male to female, and going through the journey that you had to go through? Is there any advice you would give them?
I'll give my like usual advice, and then I'll give specific advice. So my usual advice is be excellent to each other and party on.
Which is definitely relevant for the community, because there's a lack of it sometimes. So it's good advice regardless.
And thanks Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So good old Keanu. But specific advice, I guess my biggest takeaway is there are people that will help you, and there are people that will be there for you. Like, you may not think it, but there will always be someone, in my opinion and in my experiences. And if there isn't, there is always online communities you can reach out to, like Trans Folk of WA, Trans Women of WA, LGBTQI plus, the one we're in. On I forgot the name, community on Facebook.
Yep.
There's plenty. So there is people that can help you, and that's my advice.
Perfect. Nice. Well, Chloe, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule, because you're a social butterfly.
Oh, apparently.
Wonderful to chat.
It was absolutely lovely.
Thank you for being our guest number 3. Yeah. Thank you so much. And our first trans guest. So hey.
Yes.
Got a little plaque. We'll organize a plaque for you. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It was lovely. It
was absolutely lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Our friends are threatening to unplug my PC.
Okay. Don't. You're all good now. Thank you.
I'll catch you on the flip-flop.
Thank you.
Right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Queer Stories on the Swan. You can leave a review for us wherever you get your podcasts.
And you can find us on our socials on Facebook and Instagram.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Christo.
And stay fabulous.